Big year for Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator of the Colts. This defense is coming off 2 years with Gus Bradley as the coordinator where they were 28th in the NFL in scoring defense. That's not good enough. You can't keep your job doing that year after year after year after year, and hopefully this is a year that Colts defense kind of coalesces, that they've got the quarterbacks matching the scheme. They solve their problem at free safety. You got a front line that you feel really good about, and Gus Bradley's going to tell you all about that.
It's been a lot thrown at our guys. I thought that when we looked at OTAs and minicamp in the past, it felt like we were playing pretty fast. Our hopes was to start training camp the same way. I thought the first day, red zone, we had an okay day, but I thought we picked it up better today. So that's what our hope is that we kind of pick up from where we left off, along with all the competition that's taking place.
Does it look like you guys picked it up and sort of dominated today, and maybe the offensive line didn't? You'd much rather have the defensive line sort of lead the way?
Well, I mean, that's where it starts, right, is with your defensive line, especially with who we have up front. We like our veteran presence, the leadership there, so we're counting on them to kind of set the tone for the whole defense because, we have a saying, it starts up front, and really with us, that's true.
Gus, you had the 51 sacks last year, an Indy record. But where can you improve in terms of your pass rush?
Right. Well, I think it's you look at that different ways, right? Like first and second down, you get some play action passes, and I think when you have some success like that with the sacks, all of a sudden now you see more play action maxes, and where they keep people in, and it's more 2-man routes or 3-man routes. We saw a little bit of that last year. We could see that, but it's important that we develop a mindset with our D-line converting run to pass because it feels like a run and then it's a pass. So that mentality, and then always the emphasis for us is fourth quarter rush. And those situational rushes, third down, things like that. But so we'll keep emphasizing that each year is a new year. So we just got to keep building as a unit to where they learn, they get enough reps with each other that they can, kind of have a good feel for each other.
When the pads do come on, what do you want to see from Laiatu?
Well, I mean, it's a great one because right now we're seeing a skill set, that we saw in college. His speed off the ball, his moves. But once the pads come on, now can he? When you don't know it's pass and it's run pass, can you convert run to pass? Can you have all those moves? See that skill set transfer over into all situations. So he seems like he's heading in the right direction now.
What's impressed you the most about him so far on the skill set without pads on?
Well, right now the first 2 days there's been a lot of install. And a lot of times with younger guys, when you see that, they have a tendency to play a little bit slower. They're trying to figure things out. They may not play with the effort that you want. They're not going for the ball like you want. But it doesn't seem to be slowing him down. I think that's probably the most impressive. We have a lot going in, but it hasn't affected his speed on the field.
What are you seeing from Dallas and his recovery from the Achilles, but also taking a step forward? I guess a full goal.
Right. I think with Dallas and OTAs and minicamp, we saw a guy pretty impressive how he's come back from the injury. But, we still see like coming out of breaks, maybe it's not quite there. But now in training camp, the first couple of days, you're starting to see he worked his tail off over the summer because you're seeing him, the foot speed coming out of the breaks, that part from OTAs and minicamp thus far is showed up.
When it goes to free safety, there's obviously a lot more that goes into it than like talent and athleticism. What are the biggest factors you guys are looking for to put someone next to do that?
Well, you're right. I mean, we could talk about, you got to be a good eraser tackler and all that, but it really comes down to trust. Do the guys in front of you, do they look back and do they trust that you have the skill set to get it done, and can you get it done? And that breeds confidence. They love all the guys back there competing, but really you're looking for the respect of the whole unit, and that's just by making plays. So that's probably what we're looking for right now.
This is more of a general NFL question, but in your time in the league, how has the type of athlete playing tight end changed how you guys on defense have to deal with them? Because it seems like that has evolved.
Right. I think that probably in the past, if there was 11 personnel, it was 11 personnel. Mm-hmm. Now you have 11 big, 11 speed, 11 this. You start, by who's coming in the game, maybe put another letter onto that 11 so that you have an idea, all right, in this personnel grouping, maybe he's acting more like a wide receiver. So I think it's just building more awareness that there's another skill set on the field. You know, some of these tight ends are acting more and more like wide receivers. So it's important for our guys to understand that. So, you know, the recognition of personnel in the game is important.
And it does seem like there's more of a prevalence there too, where like every week there's an elite guy.
There is.
Are you finding that?
Yeah, I think it's been great as far as that's concerned. I mean, the talent level at the tight end position in the league, and now you get a guy who can block and receive, and you know who those guys are. I mean, they're elite, and that's just playing 11, and we know going the game. You know, you don't have to give them any hints on that, but I do think it has changed since 10 years ago or something. I think now you're more aware, and you probably dictate it based on personnel.
When it comes to
Time
that
for a couple more.
when it comes to that free safety spot, so you're using Ronnie Harrison there a little bit. What went into the thought process since he's been linebacker
Well,
and strong safety?
for us, when Ronnie gets in there, it seems like something good happens. Whether he's playing linebacker, he's playing strong safety. And so, we thought, you know what, we've got this competition going on back there. I mean, something good does happen. Let's take a look at it. Does he have the skill set needed to play that? And give him an opportunity to compete with the rest of them.
Guys, what have you seen from Jalen Carlisle so far?
You know what? Generally speaking, knowing our linebacker coach, Richard Smith, right? He is a really good fundamental teacher, and toughness, hand placement, strike and shed, all those things. Both him and Cato do a great job coaching that up. So in our scheme, what we can't coach up is speed, or change of direction, things like that. So you've seen us evolve to where a little bit like we're willing to go, hey, let's take a safety. And maybe he hasn't had a lot of opportunity to use his hands and strike and shed, but we feel like, all right, we can coach that part up. I think that's JC. He's a safety that's playing linebacker, but he's got really good length, and he has that mindset. He just has to develop that skill set.
When he's in there, is he playing Sam or Will?
Right now, for us, he's playing Will. But I would look for him to maybe get some reps on the outside, too, at that same spot.
That's Gus Bradley. Like I said, a lot on the line for Gus Bradley. We'll see what happens with that defense. That defensive backfield, that secondary has got to really play well, and they got to find a free safety, like Gus said, where good things happen when guys are on the field. It might not necessarily be the A-plus skill set that leads a guy to be a starter where he's positioned, but it's got to be the result. This is a result-based business. Good things happen when you're on the field. You're going to stay on the field.